Well, good afternoon, folks. I'm going to go ahead and do a video on, it's not an unboxing, but it is a video on the coffee pot that we own. This is the Ninja Specialty Coffee Maker. C is in Charlie, M is in Mary 401. And I'll show you a little book here just so you can see it. The reason I'm doing the review on this coffee pot because we've owned, like most of you probably, a ton of $19 coffee pots. Mr. Coffee or whoever else makes those generics. This coffee pot, however, has really been excellent. And I want to go through and just show you the features of it. I think it's like 130, 140 bucks, whatever it is. But it is by far the best coffee pot for doing just about everything. We've owned Keurig as well, and Keurig's not bad. But I'm going to explain some of the features that I like about this and why I think it's the best pot for the money. So let's get started. First, how do I want to do this? First, let me show you the water. The big feature about the water that I enjoy is that unlike the Keurig, which the water stays in this container over here all the time, this one, the water is just here. There's no storage down here. It only releases the water when it's time for it to be boiled, okay? And you got a choice between a cup, the travel mug, a half a carafe, or a full. And we have this water filter here, so we make sure we get clean water in it. But you just put as much water in it as you intend to use and slide it down. The top comes off so it's easy to fill, and put it back on, and then you're ready to go. The next thing you've got is you have to put your coffee in. Okay, you have two options with this. One, you can use a filter. If I can get it out of here. You can use the standard paper filters. These are actually the wrong size. I bought 600 of the wrong size. Should be a number 4. This is a number 2. But if you're using it, you put it in there, put your coffee in. And just in case you bought a bunch of number 2s and you have to get rid of them, I use the rich setting, which I'll go over here in a minute, which is a slower setting so it doesn't boil the coffee over. But if you have the correct brown paper filter, you put that in there, put your coffee in, put it up here, and close it, okay? If you don't want to use that, if you prefer to use the filter that comes with it, there is a wire mesh filter that comes with it. It just slides right in. It's very easy. Same thing, set it up here, push it in. I don't use this because I have to clean this every time, and then over time it gets stained or whatnot. That's probably a lousy reason. What I'm mainly saying is I'm too lazy to use it, and that's the main reason. But it's there, it comes with the coffee pot should you decide to use it. Now let me show you a feature here that's neat. So you put your coffee in here. I don't know about you, but one of the things that's most inconvenient, oftentimes I want to pull the cup away or pull the pot away to take some of the coffee, especially if I'm getting a full pot. So you pull the coffee away and then you try to get your cup underneath it in time to catch it. Well, with this you have an advantage. You have this little button here. Push it to the side and it automatically stops the coffee from coming out. You can pull the carafe out, pull your cup, put it back in, open this back up, and it will continue the brew process. That's probably $1 million feature right there. Okay, so let me see. We've made coffee, we filled the water, we put it in. The water will go from here down into here and over. So when you get ready to make coffee, one of the first decisions you'll have to make is 1, cut the machine on. 2, what size do you want? So you've got the option of a small cup, a large cup. This was actually bigger than a large cup. Most people's coffee cups today are like this, and they're actually bigger than even a large coffee cup. This coffee cup will it will take a travel mug full. But you can go with a travel mug. Then they make the larger travel mugs. You've got that setting. Then you've got the half, and then you've got the full carafe. So what you just need to make sure if you're not using the glass carafe here that you have this set on the correct setting. Otherwise, you could get an overflow. And you're asking, what are you talking about? Well, you also have the option of making a cup. This is another one of the beauties of this pot. You set your cup here. You can set it on regular cup or large cup. Hit the button, go straight into your cup. Now, the only reason I mentioned the other is because I have made this mistake. I have set this cup on here, had too much water in it, a lot more than I needed, and forgot that I had this thing set over here on a half a pot. Went ahead and hit the button, walked away. When I came back, there was coffee everywhere. So I don't recommend you do that. What that did cause me to do for the most part is, since I can't remember, is I make everything in this. So that makes that easier. So over here again, you have the different settings for what size cup. Then you have a stay warm, which this button will you can use this if you're just keeping the pot warm. If you pour a pot, as long as it senses the pot's on there, it will keep it warm and not burn it. That's also another great feature. Then you have delay brewing. This would be, you want to set the pot up to make coffee in the morning, have it start before you get up. So you have that option here. Your clock setting is right here. Then you have 3 settings here. You have classic, rich, and over ice. You also have specialty, if you're making some kind of a specialty brew like a cappuccino or an espresso. I've used all of these settings. They're all great. The classic is just a regular brew setting. You put your coffee in there depending upon the amount you need, and I'll go over that in a second. There's a little device here that gives you some options. This is great because it stores right on the side. It's never out of the, you don't have to put it in a drawer. It's always available. But anyway, classic is regular coffee. You put it in there, you get the steady drain. That's perfect for the typical grind you get at the store. Even if you're, we use Starbucks coffee that we order all the time, and that's usually a finer grind, and classic works well for that. If you decide you want your coffee darker, heavier, you use rich. What rich does, you don't add more coffee. It will be a slower process that the drip goes through. There are videos online that show you how this works, but the process, by the way the water is delivered to the coffee under rich, it's spread more and it's slower. So you get more developed flavor as it's coming down. Over ice, this takes into account that you're going to put ice in either the carafe or in your glass. You can do the same. Now, if you're using one of these, you can set it on here. I typically make it in here. It's taking into account that it's going over ice. And I will say, you're going to have to experiment with that to see exactly how much it makes. But it made great iced coffee. And then finally was a specialty. I use it for espresso, but there's other things that you can use it for. Then you have a clean mode to go into if you're going to clean the pot, and then the off and on. Now, I spoke earlier about, let me make sure you can see this. Okay, this thing, of course, you're not going to be able to read it probably, but this is how you measure it. The side over here is for an extra large cup, and you would use 2 to 3 of these scoops. And then for the travel mug, or the extra large travel mug, you use 3 to 5 of these scoops. These are the larger scoops if you're using the full or a half pot. For a half pot, you use 3 to 4 scoops. And for a full pot, 4 to 6. This will depend on the grind of the coffee, the type of the coffee, and again, that will be adjusted for taste. One of the things that I like is, again, this thing sits right on the side. It's got a little button there it sits on, and that's great. If you like to have frothed milk, now it doesn't heat the milk. Some people consider that a negative. It's no big deal to me. I just heat the milk in the microwave for 30 seconds and it's warm. What's neat about this is it operates off the top. You can't see it from there, but there's a little screen underneath here that's doing the frothing. Okay, and it just snaps on and twists. The easiest frother I've ever worked with. Push the button on top. When you're done, you stop. I recommend having a paper towel underneath because the milk will be stuck to it and it will drip. So you do that. Heat your milk if you want to heat it first, about 30 seconds in the microwave. Froth it, and then this just pops off and goes into the sink, dishwasher, whatever you're doing with it. You're done with it, it slaps back to the side. That is the basic operation of this machine. I'm not going to make this thing any more long-winded than it needs to be. Again, make sure you're seeing this. This is what this coffee is. I'm going to leave a link to it below. It is an affiliate link. It doesn't cost you any more if you use it. I'd appreciate it if you use it. It'll start helping to pay for these videos I'm making. But again, my personal recommendation on this is not about a affiliate link. It's about this being just a fantastic coffee pot, and I highly recommend it.